Today what we're going to do is we're going to change out the control arms on this Mazda 5. Now it's pretty much the same process for Mazda 3 and Mazda 5. I'm not too sure about anything else, but on these cars the actual ball joint comes on the lower control arm. So when you buy your new lower control arm, it comes with the rear bushing, it comes with the front bushing, and it comes with the actual brand new ball joint. Now I buy genuine parts, MOG. These are guaranteed for life, and I have MOG parts already in the front of this van, and they've only been on there a year and a half, and they're already garbage. So how do I know they're garbage? When you can grab the tire and watch the ball joint move around like that. Now some of you guys are going to say that's bearings. I'm going to tell you right now, that's 100% ball joint. Another reason that I know that this is gone is my tires. Now these are brand new tires that I just put on today, but let me show you the old tires. So this tire right here is actually the tire that came off the vehicle, and believe it or not, these are only 2-year-old snows with less than 30,000 kilometers on it. This van has taken them right down to the belts. Junk. 100% junk and garbage junk. So let me show you how to change those control arms. So first things first, let's get this tire off. Now believe it or not, you can actually change this whole control arm without taking any of these two front tires off. But just to make it easier, let's do it. To take this lower control arm off is not a lot of tools. What we have is a 14 mil wrench, we have a 14 mil socket, we have a 3/4 socket, and we have an 11/16 socket, we have an extension, and we have a swivel joint. Now we also have a large hammer, so don't forget that. If you guys want to use a pickle fork for your ball joints, you're more than welcome. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the, oh my god, we're going to take the bolt that holds in the ball joint out. Now this is a 14 mil bolt. We just stick on the piece. There you go. 14 mil bolt removed. On to the next one. Now your next one, you're going to need the 13/16 to undo the rear control arm mounts. Now on Mazda 5s, these have captured nuts at the top. On Mazda 3s, they're loose nuts, so you actually need a wrench up there. Now this is the tricky one. You need the 90-degree swivel to get at this last bolt. Just come on right in from the front, around your oil pan. Just like that. So with all the hardware out now, just break that ball joint free. She's almost free. Let's get a screwdriver. So as soon as you get that ball joint out, that whole control arm basically comes out. Now with the control arm out, you can see what the damage is. For me, it's a bad ball joint. And that right there is enough to cause premature tire wear, wreck fuel economy, make the car pull all over the place. So with that out, I can take the new one and put it in. So to install this new control arm, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into the center section first, and then line up the ends. Now once it's in, just line everything up loosely, just like that. And now you can start putting in the hardware just kind of in the hole so it doesn't want to fall. There's one end loose. Let's get the other one in. There you go. Now let's get the ball joint put in. We're just going to tap it lightly with the hammer. There, that's in. Take your ball joint bolt, reinstall, and then put the nut back on. And then tighten that down. This is where you need that wrench, 14 mil. Now it's time for the last bolt for the control arm. Just give it a little bit of a push up and reinstall. So with that bolt put back in, just give it some taps, get it to go in, and then tighten it down. That one's tight. Now to make sure all the other bolts are super tight, if you are not feeling confident in your automotive abilities, take your vehicle to a mechanic. But this, my friends, is not a hard job. Realistically, any backyard mechanic will be able to do their own lower control arm job on a Mazda 5 or a Mazda 3 in the front. Back is a little bit more involved, but it's not that hard. When you do any suspension work and replacing any parts, tie rods, struts, control arms, anything like that, make sure you take your vehicle in for an alignment, because it will not drive true. So that's the driver's side done. Let's get this side done now, and then we'll have both lower control arms changed out on this Mazda 5. Notice I put this pipe here, and the reason I do that is because this control arm will not come out unless you remove the heat shield from, the shield from around your air conditioning. Now, it's not a big deal, but I don't want to do that. So what I did is I just took the mini grinder and I ground the edge off this last time I did these control arms. So now, put it back together, I don't have to take that heat shield off. replaced both the lower control arms on this car, and that includes ball joints, bushings, basically took the front tires off. This really didn't take me that long. I did this with this hoist in 45 minutes. And if you guys are wondering, the shop actually charges an hour and 20 minutes per control arm. So even if you guys attempt this at home, it's not going to take you that long. This is not a huge job to do on these vehicles. So if you guys are wondering what it takes to change your control arms on your Mazda 3 or Mazda 5 minivan, sports wagon, whatever you guys want to call it, I call it the man van. But it's not a lot of work. So if you feel like getting your hands a little bit dirty, feel free to try this out. I'd put this at maybe a 2.5 in the difficulty if you're new. If you know your way around vehicles, this is definitely a 1 difficulty. It's a little bit more difficult than changing out your snows, and a little bit more difficult than changing your oil. But this is pretty easy. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.